Where are the best cities in America to move to right now or buy real estate? That's the topic that we're going to cover in today's video, because I know that a lot of you out there are looking to either move or buy real estate in a new city right now in the fall of 2021. And this is a really important video for you guys to watch, because the 7 cities that we're going to look at here, in my opinion, the best cities in America, these are places that are still diamonds in the rough. Not a lot of people know about these cities. Not a lot of people are moving to these areas yet, but they will be very, very soon. All of these cities have the potential of being the next Austin, Texas, the next Nashville, Tennessee over the next 2 decades. So you're going to want to get in there on the ground floor today before anyone else does. Now, we're going to be ranking these cities by virtue of 3 key criteria, folks. Number 1 is affordability. All of these places are extremely affordable places to either buy a home or rent an apartment. Number 2, all of these areas have good economies, low unemployment rates, growing jobs. That's, of course, very important for you if you want to find a job in a new city or for a growing real estate market. And then number 3, and perhaps most importantly, all of these cities are safe. Violent crime rates are very, very low, and thus if you're raising a family, if you're retiring, or if you own a real estate investment property, you don't have to worry as much about high crime. Like I said, these are the cities that are diamonds in the rough right now, but 10 to 20 years from now, everyone's going to want to know about them, so get there on the ground floor before anyone else. Let's get into the data, folks. And so we're going to get started with the first city on our list of the 7 best cities in America to move to or buy real estate. And this is a place in the southeast U.S. with absolutely beautiful weather, very friendly people, and a growing economy. Where am I talking about? That would be Greenville, South Carolina, situated about an hour and a half southwest of Charlotte. Greenville is a place that's starting to pop up on a lot of lists for best places to move, best growing economies, and as a result, it's a place that you all need to consider if you're looking to relocate or buy investment property. We can see here that Greenville is advantageously situated between a bunch of other key southeast cities like Charlotte, Asheville, Atlanta, and Augusta, giving it good proximity to a lot of different employment centers. This could be one of the reasons why Greenville has a minuscule unemployment rate of only 3.5%, folks. That's well below the U.S. average of 4.7%, and that means that locals in Greenville, if you're looking for a job or if you move there and want to look for a job, you're going to have an easy time finding it. And when you do find a job in Greenville, the hourly wage is $28 an hour, which is right around the U.S. average, which is pretty good considering that home prices in Greenville are well below the U.S. average, about 20% below. The typical price of a home in America is $310,000, according to Zillow in September 2021. The typical price of a home in Greenville is $250,000. Now, the next one on our list, folks, the number 6 best city in America to move to or buy real estate, is a place that's very different from Greenville in terms of weather. Don't come to this city here and expect to lounge by the pool in the spring and fall. Expect instead that it's going to be pretty cold, it's going to be pretty overcast, and the weather is going to be kind of dreary, and that's because this next city is in the Midwest. And we are talking about Indianapolis, folks, which you can see here on the map. Indianapolis is smack dab in the center of the Midwest, surrounded by markets such as Columbus, Cincinnati, Louisville, St. Louis, and Chicago. By the way, one of these other markets is also in our top 7. See if you can guess which one it is. Stick around to find out. However, right now we're talking about Indianapolis, the home of the NCAA. That's right, folks. Indianapolis has a rich sports history, and the NCAA is headquartered there. You also have universities like Butler and professional sports teams like the Colts and the Pacers, making Indianapolis a big sports town that drives a lot of the economy. However, there's strong economic diversification. Eli Lilly, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, is headquartered there. And Eli Lilly's presence, in addition to employing a lot of people in Indianapolis, has created a large biotech startup ecosystem where there's a lot of new companies coming to Indianapolis in the biotech field. This combination of economic factors is why Indianapolis's unemployment rate is only 4.1% and why its job growth over the last 5 years is one of the best in the Midwest. At the same time, home prices, real estate values are very cheap. The typical price of a home in Indianapolis is about $230,000, according to Zillow in September 2021. But the cold weather in the Midwest is not for everyone, and as a result, we're going to move to the Southeast again for our number 5 best city to move to and live in America right now, and that city would be Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville is in the eastern half of Tennessee, about a 3-hour drive east of Nashville and about a 2-hour drive northeast of Chattanooga. Like Greenville, Knoxville has a very low unemployment rate at only 3.5%, meaning that it's pretty easy to find a job if you're looking for one there. And if you're someone moving from another city in hopes of more economic opportunity, Knoxville might be a great place for you. If you guys are enjoying the data in this video and you want to see more of it going forward, there's a really easy way to do that. All you need to do is just smash that like button. Hit that like button really, really hard. Additionally, make sure to leave a comment below about what you think about this list. Do you agree with certain cities? Do you disagree? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Of course, Knoxville is also home to the University of Tennessee with a student enrollment of 30,000. This is a big driver of the local economy, and like most colleges and universities, it's not going anywhere, so the local economy in Knoxville is likely very stable due to the presence of the University of Tennessee. Additionally, according to data from the FBI, the violent crime rate in Knoxville is only 350 per 100,000, putting it below the U.S. average, meaning it's a fairly safe place to raise a family, fairly safe place to own real estate, especially if you pick the right neighborhood. Now, like Greenville, Knoxville is starting to get a little bit discovered. The home prices are going up there a lot over the last year or two. However, the typical price of $250,000 is still well below the U.S. average of $300,000, meaning that if you are searching affordability, if you live in a state like New York or California and you're looking for a cheaper place to live, Knoxville, Tennessee could be the answer. Now, for our number 4 city on this list, I want you to think about one word when we talk about this place, and that is steady. This is a place that's very stable. The growth isn't too crazy. However, this place also is not going to suffer a big crash. In the last housing crash, values in this city barely declined due to its stable local economy. Where am I talking about, folks? That would be Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha is another Midwest city on this list, although it's further west in the Midwest than a place like Indianapolis. And you can see here it's about a 2-hour drive west from Des Moines and about a 3.5-hour drive north from Kansas City. Now, one of Omaha's claims to fame is being the home of Warren Buffett, the very successful financial and stock market investor and the head of Berkshire Hathaway, which is also headquartered in Omaha. He's made this city his home for a very, very long time, and there's good reason for that. Warren Buffett likes the stable, almost boring nature of this place. Now, some people might view this stability / boringness as a negative. However, I think it could be construed as a positive because it's the reason why Omaha has been so stable. It's the reason why home prices here are very affordable at a typical price of $250,000 in September 2021. It's also a reason why the unemployment rate is so low. At a microscopic 2.3%, folks. That's one of the lowest in America. 2.3% unemployment rate. The industries, the jobs in Omaha are very, very stable. Additionally, Omaha actually has the highest wages of any city on this list. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average hourly wage is $30.50 in Omaha, which is right above the U.S. average and, like I said, above all the other cities on this list. So if you're looking for a place where you can find employment, buy cheap real estate, and earn a decent wage, Omaha would be your bet. Now, I'm really excited to move on to our number 3 city to move to or live in the U.S. in the fall of 2021. This is actually the most affordable place on this list. Home prices here are cheaper than anywhere else on this list and pretty much cheaper than anywhere else in America. And given how much a lot of you I know are craving affordability right now, I think this is a city, a metro area that you should definitely look at if that's a priority for you. We're talking about Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Get this, folks, the typical price of a home, according to Zillow in Oklahoma City, is $188,000. That is extremely affordable. That is almost half what the U.S. average is. That is like 3 or 4 times cheaper than California and New York. For those of you who watch my channel, you know I actually spent quite a bit of time in Oklahoma City over the last couple months when I was deciding what the next place I was going to live in, and I really liked Oklahoma City. You could tell that this was a place that's on the up and up. It reminded me of maybe what Austin, Texas would have been like 20 to 25 years ago. There was good growth. There was new coffee shops and restaurants. There's co-working spaces. However, everything was still calm. The growth wasn't too crazy. It was very community oriented, and as a result, I was really drawn to it. Ultimately, I ended up picking Dallas as my next step, but Oklahoma City is definitely a place I could see myself in the future, and I think a lot of you who are looking to move to a new city or buy real estate in a new city should consider it. Now, I know a lot of you love a good comeback story, a place or a person that gets knocked down but then comes right back up, and that describes our number 2 city city, folks. We're already at the number 2 city. Stick around for number 1 in a second. But our number 2 city is a comeback kid. This is a place where 20 years ago, it was not really a nice place to be, but it has reformed itself. It is growing. We are talking about Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, which was the other city here in the Midwest I was talking about before, is about equidistant from Columbus and Indianapolis, about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from each of those, and is also very close to Louisville, since part of the metro area actually spills over into Kentucky. And believe it or not, Cincinnati is actually one of the safest metro areas in America. According to data from the FBI, there's only 237 violent crimes per 100,000 people. That's one of the lowest rates in America for a metro. Now, that doesn't mean all areas in Cincinnati are safe. Clearly, there's some urban areas which are a bit tougher, higher crime. You might want to avoid those areas if you're moving or buying real estate in the city. However, more broadly, especially including the suburbs, Cincinnati is very safe. At the same time, its unemployment rate of about 5% is right around the U.S. average, meaning it gives you decent job prospects while affording you very affordable real estate. The typical price of a home in Cincinnati is only $231,000, which is well below the U.S. average, and is only 4.7 times the average annual wage in the local economy. This was a housing market that did not get hit that hard by the last housing crash that occurred in 2008, and I suspect again in the next crash, while it might dip a little bit, it's going to hold its values very, very well. Now, are you guys ready for the number 1 city on this list, the number 1 city to move to or live in right now in the fall of 2021, or that would be a great place to buy real estate? This is a place more than anywhere else in America that combines the holy trinity that we discussed today: affordability, economic opportunity, and safety. And Augusta, Georgia provides these things pretty much better than any other city in America. You can see Augusta here is situated smack dab in the middle of the Southeast, right on the eastern border of Georgia and the western border of South Carolina. It's about a 3.5-hour drive from Atlanta. It's also close to Greenville, which is also on this list, as well as Savannah and Charleston. Now, many of you know Augusta as home to the Masters tournament, the big golf tournament that occurs every year, typically in April, and this brings 200,000 people to Augusta every single year, and obviously this is a big part of the economy in the spring when it occurs. However, Augusta has more going on than just the Masters. The unemployment rate across the metro area is a tiny 3.1%, meaning that if you want to look for a job in Augusta, you can find it. Now, one thing to note is that the wages in Augusta are fairly low at around $25 an hour. This is lower than pretty much all the other cities on this list, and it means that if you move to Augusta and find a local job, you might be making less than you did in the place you came from. However, this could be a great option for retirees or anyone who works remote and earns their income someplace else, because that income at a typical home price of only $188,000 can get you a very far way in Augusta. So to recap this top 7 list, we have Greenville, Indianapolis, Knoxville, Omaha, Oklahoma City, Cincinnati, and Augusta. These are the 7 cities that I think are some of the best to move to, the best to live in, and best to buy real estate right now in the fall of 2021. And remember, folks, we came up with this list using 3 main criteria: affordability, economic opportunity, and safety. I believe these 3 characteristics, which I dub the Holy Trinity, are what's most important for a city to provide its people. And while many of these areas might not have some of the amenities and the attractions of some other cities, like it might be hard to find an oat milk latte in Augusta, or maybe vegan ice cream isn't as available in Oklahoma City. However, these places offer a good quality of life, good bang for your buck, and a relatively safe environment, which is what I know a lot of you are after right now in the fall of 2021, when home prices are so expensive in many parts of America, where crime is shooting up across the country, where a lot of places are having issues in their job markets. You don't need to worry about those things in these 7 cities. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts on this list. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you think there's other cities that should be put in place? Would you kick a certain city off this list? Let me know in the comments, especially if you live in some of these locations. I want to hear what your feedback is, especially if you think there's some other characteristics that need to be considered in terms of picking a city to move to or buy real estate. Of course, if you guys have enjoyed this content, which I know you have if you're still watching, make sure you've hit the like button. When you do that, it gets this video exposed to more people on YouTube, and when that happens, I can actually spend spend more time and spend more money on the production of these videos going forward. And if you are someone who liked this data and you really want to get deeper into it and understanding your housing market in other cities, make sure to become a channel sponsor member. Hit the join button below. When you do that, you get access to some really cool perks, including a monthly newsletter that shows you the data on all of the housing markets across America that will help you decide whether your market's in a bubble, if it's going to crash, or maybe a new city to move to if that's what you want to do. So hit the join button below. The cost is $5 a month. I promise you're not going to regret it. All right, everyone. Until next time, this is Nick from eVenture Consulting signing off.